Happy Easter. Welcome to our Easter Waumba worship. And boy, do I got a great point for you. Here's the point. No matter what, God watches over us. Once more time. No matter what, God watches over us. And what do? Waumba. And you know why God watches over us? Because He's the King. Are you ready? Ready for a little elephant? Here it comes. We're going to hear the drums and then the elephant. Oh, there's the elephant. Now the drums.
I know God, I talk about Him every single day. I pray to Him at all times. He's the only way. I love Him, He loves me, no matter where I go. And everything I do will be for God and God alone. Let's sing about the Lord, the greatness of our God. For He's the King of everything. We're all about His love and all that He has done. For He's the King of everything. Let's sing about the Lord, the greatness of our God. For He's the King of everything. We're all about His love and all that He has done. For He's the King of everything. For He's the King of everything. For He's the King of everything.
Yay! Oh, man. That is so awesome. Now, today, I not only have one Bible story for you today, I have kind of a story that's based on the Bible but goes even further. I can't wait to tell you. It's the story of the Easter Bunny. But before we get ready for that, let's remember our point, which is no matter what, God watches over us. And what do? Waumba. And every page of the Bible tells us that because God watches over us, because God loves us. So let's get ready to get into the Bible. Here we go.
Makes me wanna sing hallelujah. It's the greatest foot. Come and take a look. Makes me wanna shout, 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 shout.
Now, as we get ready to get into the Bible, we begin, first of all, with a song. Actually, kind of a song that a guy named David wrote. Now, David was one of the greatest kings that Israel ever had, maybe the greatest, except for Jesus. Now, before he was a king, he was a shepherd. And he used to write songs. And one of his songs says, you know that God is like a shepherd to me. He says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want for anything. He'll take care of me no matter where I am. He'll lie me down in green pastures. He'll lead me beside waters where I can drink. He'll lead me in all the right paths. He will watch over me. And in that very poem, in that very song, he says, even if I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I don't need to fear anything, for God is with me. God is with me just the way a shepherd carries a rod and a staff, so God watches over me. And so, as we talk about that, particularly in these days where it can be important to remember that God watches over us as we deal with all the precautions of washing our hands. I hope you're washing your hands and doing all the important things to do to keep us safe. But we can remember that God watches over us so much, that God loves us so much, that he gave his very life for us. For thousands of years after David lived, his great grandson was born, Jesus. But Jesus wasn't just a descendant of David, wasn't just one of Jesus's super great grandchildren. Jesus was God come to earth. Now, when God came in Jesus, he not only loved us and healed us and did all sorts of wonderful things, but in the end, he gave his life for us. But even when he died, that didn't stop Jesus, but he rose again. And he lives, and because he lives, we can know that we will live no matter what, that God is watching over us even when we die and taking us to exactly where we need to be in God's loving arms. But as we come and think about that, when Jesus was here, there's a story that I heard once upon a time about some creature that Jesus particularly was watching over. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, there lived a bunny named E.C. Bunny. And this bunny lived in a beautiful garden, but this bunny was sad and this bunny was shy. For years before, his mommy and daddy had died, and he thought, there's no one to watch over me. And so he would sneak out to get something to eat and nibble on the grass that was there in the garden. But if anyone ever showed up, any person, he would run right back into his rabbit hole and hide, because he said, there's no one here to watch over me. And then, one day, he was nibbling on the grass, and a bunch of people showed up. And he quickly ran into his hole. And then he thought that they were all gone. And he slowly crept out of his little bunny hole. He looked around. And there was someone still there. And he had the kindest eyes that E.C. Bunny had ever seen. And E.C. Bunny looked up and he wasn't scared. And then the strangest thing happened. For bunnies, they have a secret bunny name, and only other bunnies know it, no one else. But this man said to him, hello, E.C. Hello, E.C. Bunny. I've been waiting for you. And E.C. couldn't believe it. How could this man know his secret bunny name? And the man knelt down, patted E.C. on the top where his ears were. He liked to be scratched in the center, but he didn't even know that because he'd never been scratched there before. And Jesus said to him, that was his name. He says, my name's Jesus, E.C. And I'm here to watch over you and everyone. And as I watch over you, I want to be your friend. Can I be your friend? And E.C. was so excited, he just nodded in his funny little way. And sure enough, after all the crowds would leave, E.C. was still scared. Jesus would stay behind. He would bring a carrot or something else for EC to nibble on, and they would run and play together in the garden. And then one night, EC was fast asleep, and he heard voices outside. And he went further into his bunny hole because he was scared. He didn't know who these people were here so late at night, there in the garden. And then he heard Jesus' voice. And Jesus was upset. He was crying even, talking to God. And EC was concerned, and he got all his bunny courage up, and he went outside, and he saw Jesus leaning against this rock and praying, talking to God. And EC got as big as bunny leap he could, and he jumped right up into the rock. And Jesus didn't even see him, but EC nuzzled Jesus with just his nose. And Jesus looked up and says, "Wow, EC, normally I watch over you, but tonight you're watching with me. Tomorrow is going to be a very hard day, EC. Tomorrow I'm going to have to fight death. I'm going to have to fight evil. But I'm going to win because God's love is stronger than death. God's love is stronger than anything. And I have come to bring God's love right here, right now." He said, "You stay with me?" And EC goes, "Yes, I can stay." Because all of Jesus' other friends had fallen asleep. And so as Jesus prayed, EC just nuzzled close. And Jesus felt comforted. But then there began to be loud noises. And Jesus goes, "EC, run, quick, hide. Bad guys are coming." And sure enough, EC ran ahead. And the soldiers and the police came, and they took Jesus away. And EC was so worried. And the next morning he got up thinking, hoping that Jesus would return, but Jesus wasn't there. The first morning, nothing happened. The second morning, nothing happened. And then the third morning, EC went and he hopped up on that little rock, waiting for Jesus. And all of a sudden, Jesus came, but Jesus didn't look the same. Jesus was all bright and amazing looking, even shining. And EC was amazed. And Jesus goes, "EC, I have come to see you. I have fought death and I won. I fought evil and I won. And now everyone knows that God's love is stronger than anything, that God watches over us all, even to death and beyond." And EC was so happy to see his friend Jesus. And then Jesus said, "Because you were there with me on that night when I was praying to God, I am going to give you a special job. EC, were you willing to take on this job?" And EC goes, "Yes." And with that, Jesus put his hand on EC's bunny head. And all of a sudden, EC began to grow and become bigger and bigger till he became the biggest bunny you could ever see. And Jesus said, "EC, I want you to open up your paws." And so EC opened up one paw, and out of it, chocolate candy, a chocolate egg appeared. And he says, "Open up your other paw." And out of that paw, a colored egg appeared. And Jesus said, "On the day that I defeated death, on this day that people will call Easter, I want you to go throughout all the world and tell all the children how God's love defeated death by giving them wonderful gifts, gifts of beautiful colored eggs and candy and other gifts to remind them that God's love is there for them and that God is watching over them all the time. And the rest of the time, you can come and hang out with me in heaven and we'll play. And then on this day, my resurrection day, on Easter day, you come back and share the love of all the people." And EC said, "That's so exciting." He was so excited. He was just beaming with his bunny nose and his bunny smile. And in fact, he says, "I'm going to give you a new name. Instead of EC Bunny, you're going to be Easter Christ Bunny. And you're going to share my love on this special day." And from that day forward, Easter Bunny, as you know him, but as Jesus knows him, now as you know him, EC Bunny, comes and shares beautiful gifts of love with all the children of the world to remind them of this day when God's love conquered even death, when God's love defeated everything that pulls us away from God. so that we can know always that no matter what, God watches over us. Because God loves each of us no matter what. So let's remember that point one more time. Are you ready? No matter what, God watches over us. And what do? Waumba. And God watches over us because God loves us. And so we got to share that love that God gives us. We got to give that love away. Are you ready to do it? Are you ready to give away the love? Let's do it, everybody. Here we go.
I'm feeling good, good, good in a crazy way. God's love changed me more than I can say. Can't keep this in, gotta let it out. Gonna tell the whole world that your love is spinning me round and around. Yeah, it's turning me upside down. I can't believe the way you love me more than I can contain. I'm gonna turn around and give it away.
I want the world to know just how I